Good morning from Melbourne, Australia. Good evening to friends in North America. And hello to anybody who's watching on replay. I'm Nancy Hetker. I'm a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Melbourne, Australia. And I welcome you to my Facebook Live today. I'm going to give people a couple minutes to find me here. But I'll get this out of the way. And I wanted to remind people here in Australia that if you aren't working with a demonstrator, I would be happy to help you out. We have this brand new, lovely catalog that goes live starting June 3rd, or you can get early access to selected products by joining my team. Demonstrators get access a month early to new catalog products. And I also wanted to point out that I really like doing a spiral bound, getting my catalog spiral bound. Let's see, let's wake up here this morning. And then I also add tags on here. So if you want more information about doing that, these are just tabs so I can quickly find particular suites. Like today we're working with the Forever Greenery suite. You know, if you're looking for Christmas stamps or birthday stamps, it makes it really quick and easy to find stuff. So I really like to do that, and I'd be happy to help you access those resources too. So new catalog, lots of new exciting stuff, and we are going to go ahead and play with some of it today. Get rid of that. Hi Gladys, hi Wendy, thanks for joining me. Let's see. Oh, so I showed you in the unboxing of my pre-order that I did last week, last Wednesday, the Forever Greenery suite that I purchased. And I've done a very little bit of playing with it since then. And I'm going to use it today. I wanted to show you one of the things that I have discovered about it. This has great dies, the Forever Flourishing dies that go with this suite. And once again, Stampin' Up! Has done some really cool stuff for us with their designer series paper, because for example, this die not only coordinates with that stamp, but they also have replicated the patterns on the designer series paper so that our dies can work with them. If you want the shape, if you want the image, but you don't want to have to do the cutting and the shading, and I'm sorry, the stamping and the shading and the what have yous. So that's really awesome. So it works on that paper. Oh, Gladys, you're still waiting for your catalog? Oh my goodness. That's too bad. And then on this page, there's another, really, there is another image that will be cut out by a die. And again, on this one, here we go. There's another that gets cut right out. So you have lots of options when you get the bundle with the stamp set and the dies, and you have the designer series paper. They all work together so well. But I'm not using any of those papers today. Let me show you what I have in mind to do. And part of it, I have a vision, and I have worked on this vision. I've done some prep work on the vision, but it hasn't fully come together. So that's why we're calling it a play, because we need to do some work with it. So I cut a piece of this designer series paper. Remember, on one side it carries the greenery leaf theme, and on the other side it's more graphic. So I'm using this graphic one. I don't know, is it kind of like grass cloth? And then I'm going to use, there's this pair of Greenery embossing folders, and I'm going to use this one with the small double leaf pattern on this side of it, I believe. So I'm going to do that off to the side. You don't need to see me crank through the embossing machine, I don't think. But I am going to take a minute here and line it up in the light. I think that will do it. Oh my goodness. And I need to get my embossing plates. Okay. Here we go. Well, it was mostly straight. There we go. So do you think it's been lost? Oh, your catalog? That could be, unfortunately. Okay, so now I'm gonna glue down this piece. And I'm gonna try and glue down. So the we have this Forever Gold laser cut images, and some of them are the leaf images like this, and then some of them are the rectangular panels, and the edges from the rectangular panels, I'm using one of those, and it's really, really narrow. So it's going to be a little tricky with the glue, but we're going to do our best here. Between it being so narrow and the bottom sheet being textured, we'll see how this goes. But I know this isn't long enough to get 2 card fronts out of, so I'm not worrying about cutting it right to length. That makes it easier to get on there. That worked. Nice. And then this end I'm just gonna snip. And I know my designer series paper is just a smidge longer than my card front. That was done deliberately. So again, I didn't have to worry quite so much about placement. And now I'm just neatening it up like so. Okay. So that's the front of my card. And now we're going to figure out how to decorate it. So it's going to go on a thick Whisper White card base. And you could just go ahead and emboss your card base, but I think it makes a nicer finished card, especially since I didn't emboss the entire thing. If I do it like so, and again, I can trim that flush if need be. Turn around this way. Now we're good. Ish. So maybe I'll go ahead and glue that on. Good morning, Jenny. I see Barbara and Nikki have joined. Hello, hello. Nice to see you this morning or evening, wherever you are. Okay, so I'm going to start with my sentiment because I know what I want that to say. I'm going to use this one again out of Forever Fern, and I'm going to say, to a friend that makes me smile. I'm going to do that in Pretty Peacock because it may be hard to tell, but this, I think this is soft sea foam in the background with Pretty Peacock on top. So I'm just going to stamp that on some scrap. And figure out how I'm going to cut that out. Again, I'm deliberating because I'm thinking about sort of my end goal with my design. Which is going to be to layer it on another piece. We're gonna go with that. Okay, so I'll be right back. I'm gonna run that through. Yep. So that I used the stitched shape in a square, so it's got the stitching on it. And I'm going to cut, this is from Stitch So Sweetly. Yeah, and I'm going to cut that out of vellum. actually going to go ahead and I'm going to emboss it as well. See how that works. Sorry, lots of off-camera embossing and die cut machine work, but let's see how we're doing here. Yeah, I think we're getting there. Okay, we're going to do some other layering stuff so that won't look so lost, but I don't know if you can see how cool that looks. That might help you see it. I love embossed vellum. So, swap out some stuff on my embossing machine. Embossing and die cut machine. Ugh. And I'm going to cut, I think I'm going to cut one of these out of the pretty peacock. Used these dies before, so this is going to be fun. Oh yeah. Come on. There we go. Let's see, should we do another one out of we'll do another pretty peacock one. Cut so nicely. Okay, so now that's not going to be quite so lost on there, I think. And we're not done. We're going to add some more stuff. Let's do a little stamping, shall we? What shall we add in there? Okay, so this is soft seafoam. Let's do one just straight up. Let's do another one. And going to, this is a sponge dauber with pretty peacock, and I'm just using a little bit. So I haven't even inked it today. This is residual from another time I used it. Let's see how that turns out. Ooh, yeah. Look at how fun that is. Okay, when you do that, you gotta clean it off or you're gonna get your darker color on your lighter color stamp pad, and that's no good. So again, let's see what we get. Starting just going around the edges of this one. Let's see if we add just a tiny bit in the middle. You might remember I did this a bunch on the tulips. We did timeless tulips a couple months ago. Ooh, I like those a lot. Okay. Sorry, I bumped the camera there. Okay, I'm gonna go cut things out. Let's bring this in to cut out this time. Who's looking forward to the new machine? I sure am. This one, I've had it for, what, 10 years? And it's just starting, it's loosened, the mechanism is loosened up just enough that sometimes I'm having to use a shim a little more often than I really want to. Yeah, I love how it stamps too, Nikki. So because these are these distinctive stamps, you want the stamp pads to be a little bit on the drier side. And you may remember I've shown you before how to take like a spoon or your your bone folder and push the ink down to one end so you don't actually have to like waste ink by blotting it off. That helps a lot if you find all your little etching is getting filled up with ink. Oh yeah. I'm sorry, can you hear the wind in my craft room this morning? We've had a storm front come through in the middle of the night with some thunder, and we're still having some gusty winds periodically. And I did open my my other window that, whoops, that's moved on me. To help cut down the howling, but let me see if I can open a little more. That helped. Okay. Yeah, the wind sounds really strong in my craft room because of a weird engineering thing when they built the building next to ours. It created, because we're right at the top of the building, it creates this weird effect that it howls. And apparently it's just this one window in my craft room in the whole building. And so our landlord and the owners corporation are still haggling out who's going to pay for the fix. And in the meantime, I get to listen to it. Lucky me. Okay, let's see where we are. I'm thinking I'm going to add some more stuff, but I like to stop and see where I am in the process. So I've got these two going, and they may see how far apart they need to be, because they're adding some grounding to this vellum piece. I want them to show up. Come here. Back behind there. Okay. I'm liking that pretty well. And I think I'm going to add a swirl of the gold trim back in there. I'm liking that so much. Hang on one second. Okay, so this is my press and seal, and hopefully you guys know this trick. If I had just gotten it kind of where I liked it, I wouldn't have bothered with this, but I really like how that top layer is. So I'm going to use that to pull it up. And that stays in place there. And now we'll work on getting these in place. So just little dots of glue. Dot of glue there. They're going to take a moment to hold them down because they're little dots of glue on this very textured surface. Come on. And same thing on this side. Hey, Sarah. Is it so hot in Arizona already? Of course, to me, anything is so hot, right? At this point. We are definitely well into autumn here. Okay, so I'm going to use some tear and tape on the back of that where it's going to be covered by my top layer. Yeah, that's down. Okay, I wanted it to the right a little bit more, but that's okay. We'll all be fine. Now the question is, this is, if you have nightmares from working with other metallic stuff that just kind of springed everywhere, this one is actually quite nice to work with, I think. Just have to figure out kind of how I want it. That's one reason I like this press and seal, because I can really play with things a little bit. Okay, let's go ahead and snip that off. I do have, there are shaded spruce gems in the holiday rhinestones, but yes, the gilded gems is what I thought I would use. Is that new? The trim, yeah, this is the Forever Greenery trim combo pack. That's got this one that's more very vanilla than Whisper White, and the gold, and this is lovely, lovely, so soft, kind of just incredibly soft. And the gold trim is too. Not wiry. That's what I'm trying to say. So how am I going to attach that on there today? Where's it going to go in relation to this? Okay. Ugh. And it frays so easily, which is kind of a neat look. So I'm leaving that out. I'm just going to lay that on there. I'm going to let it be pretty organic, I think. And I'm going to put mini dimensionals on here, kind of all over. We'll see how much of that we capture down and see how we do. Yes, I have something printed out. I was playing with those labels for the tabs on my catalog. Sorry, I can't think and talk at the same time. And yeah, that one was way too small. So if you're saying what, tabs? I'll show this again. So for my catalog, I like to get it spiral bound, and I just went to my local print shop, or you go to your, here in Australia, Office Works, or Staples in the US, or Office Depot, or you may, not Kinko's, FedEx office. You may have to try a couple of them. Some of them get reluctant about doing that sort of thing, but then I also love having the tabs on there. It makes it really quick and easy to find things without having to go to the index first. So if you want help with getting labels for your tabs, just let me know and I will send out the document. Yeah, make an 8 and use a glue dot in the middle. I know, but this one, it just, when they're really wiry, I do that a lot, but this one just seems to be working quite well. So I'm thinking I'm gonna be able to catch a lot of it with those dimensionals. A lot of times, if it wants to have a mind of its own, I'll do the wrapping on the back. I'll pull the dimensionals and I'll do the wrapping on the back and I'll place them down, and it'll be really ugly on the back. But like I said, this seems to want to work nicely, so we'll see how it comes out, won't we? So yeah, now I get to pull all these off. I probably could have used the bigger dimensionals, but so how many of you who can do the pre-order ordered this suite? Because it's pretty sweet, isn't it? I'm actually going to take a couple glue dots here and just go ahead and kind of stick these, maybe stick these stems together, whatever, they'll stick down. Okay, let's see how we go. Get that out from back behind. Really want to get it in one shot, I think. And you just pull that off. Yep. That I'm happy with. What do you think? Do you think it needs the gems, or are we good the way it is? Yeah, you probably can't see it that closely. Let's see if we raise it up a bit with some light. Yeah, the ribbon, that gold trim just does something. And I'm not sure, between that and the little gold foil strip, I don't think it needs the gems. What do y'all think? I'm calling that good, unless somebody chimes in here real fast. Yeah, I don't think so. Okay, so that's my card for today, because that's what I had planned out. Yeah, do play with that sponge dauber and the going over your light ink. You'll get some pretty stuff. I really like this suite. I think it's fun and easy to make really elaborate looking cards. So yeah, that's what I have for today. Thanks for joining me. I will be back in 1 week to play with something else. I don't know what yet. If you have requests, let me know. Otherwise, yeah, you get what I come up with. So I will talk to you all next week. Thanks for joining me. Bye-bye.